Homemade, slow-cooked, nutritious, tasty beef bone broth. The best broth is the broth you make yourself with beef bones, roasted beef bones. The roasting adds a complex flavor. This is easily stored and frozen for future use for any recipe that may call for it. First up, beef bones. Get them at a butcher. In Canada it's called an abattoir, in the States it might be called a slaughterhouse. Spread the bones out in a roasting pan and put them in a preheated oven at 450 degrees for 30 minutes. While the bones are roasting, chop up some carrots, onion, and celery. These are going to add flavor and complexity to the broth. After 30 minutes, you'll notice the smell of the roasted beef filling the kitchen. Add the vegetables on top and put them back in the same oven for another 45 minutes. Cut and peel 2 cloves of garlic. Flavor doesn't come out of garlic unless the cell structures are destroyed by either cutting or squishing or crushing. So cut and peel the cloves by cutting the ends off, and then you see how the paper is difficult to get off sometimes? Just squish the whole garlic with the side of a knife and the paper will come right off. After they're done roasting, take them out of the oven and they smell so good. This smells like it's going to be the best stew you've ever made. Just listen to this pan. These are just the ingredients going into just the broth that we're going to make for whatever recipe we have in store in the future. Everything in the pan is going to go into the pot. But I'm going to spoon off the excess fat that is formed. Some of the most unique flavor is still in this pan, some of the best flavor. We're going to capture it and make sure we add it to our broth. So I'm going to add a cup of hot water to scrape up and deglaze this pan into the water. We have to add some vinegar at some point in this recipe, and this is the best time to add it. We're going to use that acid to help us lift off those burny bits that are on the pan to add to our beef broth. I want to scrape up everything that I can. Get right into the corners. I'm even going to use a spoon to make sure I don't miss anything. This is all great flavor. Look how the color of this water has changed. This is all the flavor that it's picked up from the pan. It's time for the aromatics. I'm going to add 12 whole peppercorns, a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of oregano, a tablespoon of parsley, and 2 cloves of garlic that we crushed and cut up earlier. Now we just need enough water to cover. I like to measure it so I know how much is going in and how much I get at the end. So this is 8 cups I'm adding, and then another 6 cups after that. I'll end up adding another 4 cups of water as this boils throughout the day. I put the meat on medium-high to bring this up to a boil. Once it's at a boil, I turn the heat down to a simmer, and this simmers for up to 12 hours. And I add water if I need to, and I skim off any foam that might appear at the top as this is simmering. But when it's done simmering, I let it cool to room temperature, and then I put it in the fridge overnight. And then the next day, look at this. All of the rest of the fat that I couldn't find has risen to the top and is hardened and is easy to spoon off and remove. What's left here almost looks like a gelatin, and that's good. The tissues in the bones also contain collagen, and cooking the collagen turns it into a gelatin, which provides the body with amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins for your body. To finish working with this, I raise the temperature a little bit on the stove to convert it back into a liquid, and I remove all of the solids in the broth. I use tongs and I use a slotted spoon to get all of the chunks out of there. And to get the purest product I can, I have a sieve here that I line with cheesecloth. I've got a sheet of cheesecloth that I'm folding over twice, so I have 4 layers of cheesecloth. And I just have to be a little patient here to pour this all through. It can take a little bit of time. The cheesecloth gets clogged up with all the impurities that I don't want. But look at this finished result. Look at that color. Look how deep and rich that color is. There is such a complexity of flavors here, from the roasted bones, the vegetables, the slow cooking, the aromatics, the acid that we added in the vinegar. When this is cool enough, I just portion it, put it into freezer containers, and put it away, ready to go for whatever recipe calls for it. My favorite is French onion soup. And the best time to make beef bone broth is when you don't need it, because it can be time consuming. But you can make this ahead and put it away so that when you do need a great quality bone beef broth, you have it ready on hand. Yum. Did you like this? Go ahead and click like below. The recipe and the website are also listed below. Click subscribe to find out when it's time to take the time to make something interesting again next time.